Democratic presidential candidate Joseph Biden today faces a controversy. 3 weeks ago at a debate at the Iowa State Fair, he used phrases identical to those delivered by British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock.
Biden seemed to be claiming Kinnock's vision and life as his own.
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Gladys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
My ancestors who worked in the coal mines in northeast Pennsylvania don't come up after 12 hours and play football.
8 hours underground and then come up and play football.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
There was no platform upon which they could stand.
The notion that every thought or notion or idea you'd have to go back and find and attribute to someone, I think is, quite frankly, ludicrous.
The problem here is that Senator Biden told his audience he'd just been thinking about these things, and he failed to give any credit at all to his famous British speechwriter.
You know, I was thinking on the way over here. Now that's a little too much, because as you point out, what's behind the words? What's there? And a lot of people, the rap on Biden has always been that it's just a surface.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
But CBS News found a tape of a second instance.
It reappeared in the New York Times with a new charge, that Biden had appropriated a famous litany from the late Robert Kennedy about what the gross national product cannot measure.
It cannot measure the health of our children,
The health of our children,
the quality of our education,
the quality of their education,
the joy of their play.
or the joy of their play.
Biden gave Kennedy no credit. He has also quoted or paraphrased John Kennedy, Hubert Humphrey, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock, all without credit.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
He was given an F.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
To the political community in Washington, it all seems of a piece. Plagiarism at law school, plagiarism on the stump.
The great communicator. Strike that. The great imitator.
You don't steal verbatim, or when you do, as he did 99% of the time, you give credit.
Biden's critics say he sells himself as a man whose words and visions can inspire a new generation in politics. But if the thoughts, phrases, and visions really belong to others, it's a form of false advertising.
Is it a wise idea, though, to take something that personal, anyway, from another politician and try and appropriate it to your own campaign?
I think it was a stupid thing to appropriate material that was really very personal, that was someone else's.
Most people didn't know who he was, you know, Joe Biden, and now they're going to say, oh yeah, he's the guy who plagiarized.
There's a lot of people.
Politically, that's devastating.
These clips are devastating. He looks like a Joe Biden wind-up doll with somebody else's words coming out.
If they're going to do things that are stupid as well as immoral, then they're probably too dumb to have the job of president.
Voters are going to have to decide whether he was dishonest or dumb.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden...
Shalom. Salakia. Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaKakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well through the scriptures. Peace of the hopeful elect. And as you can see clearly and plainly, this man is a liar. All right. And our people trust in this whole system. All right. To even pay this guy attention, to think he may even be an answer, so to speak, to the problems that's in America. All right. But this man has been a liar and is a liar. All right. He wrote the 1992 crime bill that saw 100% increase in the incarceration of so-called African Americans. All right. He got plans of chipping
Our constitutional
US
journey
citizens.
did not stop then, and it must not stop now, Judge. And we'll be faced with equally consequential decisions in the 21st century. Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over. Can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior? You will rule on that. And Judge, I need to know whether you will be a justice who believes that the constitutional journey must continue to speak to these consequential decisions, or that we've gone far enough in protecting against government intrusion into our autonomy, into the most personal decisions we make. Judge, that's why this is a critical moment. There are elected officials in this government, such as Mr. DeLay, a fine, honorable, patriotic man, and others, who have been unsuccessful at implementing their agenda in the elected branches. So they've now poured their energies, as the left would if it were different, they've now poured their energies and resources into trying to change the court's view of the Constitution. And now they have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Right, so you heard him. He said you will rule on the RFID microchip being implantable into citizens and the brain scans to see if someone will or will not prevent a crime, something precog, put you in the mind of the movie Minority Report. So Joe Biden is not for you Israelites, man, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right? And why should he be? All right? This is get some scriptures. This is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. All right, so he's not profitable. All right, he's not the answer. When you read Deuteronomy 28:68, all right, let's get that. Matter of fact, let's get it over here. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Egypt is symbolic of America. All right, we came on slavery, cargo slave ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We haven't saw a homeland again as a nation, which is Israel. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. So here we were sold as slave men and slave women, and no man shall buy you. So what does that mean? No man shall buy you. Let's look that word up in the Hebrew. Qanah. Get, acquire, of God originating, creating, redeeming his people. Keyword redeem. Buy, purchase, redeemed. Okay. Let's look up redeem. Psalm 74:2. Remember thy congregation which thou hast purchased of old, the rod of thine inheritance which thou hast redeemed, this Mount Zion wherein thou hast dwelt. Okay. Let's look up that word redeemed in the Greek as well. Gaal. To redeemed. To redeem. To redeem according to Oriental law of kinship, to be next of kin, buy back a relative's property, purchase, ransom, To redeem by basically save, man. It means no man, Deuteronomy 28:68 means no man will save you. All right, there will not be a leader to rise up like it was of old, like Moses and Joshua and the judges, Samson, when the scriptures. All right. You will be sold as enemies and no man will buy you. No man will save you. That's why Martin Luther King failed. Medgar Evers failed. Malcolm X failed. All the slavery uprisings, they failed. Because the Lord is going to deliver us and save us himself. Not Joe Biden. Not if all black people go and vote. All right. You people even got our people even mad at others, blaming them for not voting. All right. This is Romans 13:1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High. So the Lord put all these people in power, man. Whosoever therefore resisted the power resisted the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. Right? And they pass laws and they do what they want to. They do what they do, whatever. That's up to them. We waiting on the Lord to come back. All right. Now, when they try to implement this mark of the beast, this chip, you're supposed to resist that. Some people try to use this verse to say, oh, you gotta obey the laws of the land. You gotta do whatever they tell you to do. Well, there's the balance to that. They tell you to stop at the stop sign, stop at the red light and pay your taxes. All right. But the scripture says you render unto Caesar what's Caesar's and you give to the Lord what's the Lord's. All right. Under this captivity, we are subject to payments and to this man authority. But the Most High made it to be so. All right. So we just waiting out this punishment till the Lord come deliver us. All right. This is Deuteronomy 17:14. When thou art come unto the land which the Lord Yahweh thy God giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Next verse. 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yahweh thy power shall choose, one from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. So the candidates, the choices that you got to choose from are people that are strangers, that are not your brother, that are not of your family line. And Joe Biden got Kamala Harris, right? It's the token black feminist woman. All right. Nevertheless, the candidates, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, are not of our people. All right. And regardless of either one of them that get elected, they will not push any cause for our people. Okay. This is Isaiah 3:13. Yahweh standeth up to plead and standeth to judge the people. All right. Let me get another one. Jeremiah 30:13. It says, there is none to plead thy cause that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. Ain't nobody to plead our cause. He not finna get elected and really stand and plead for so-called black people, Latino people, Native American people. All right. That's something the Lord got to do. Okay. This is Jeremiah 50:34. It says, their Redeemer is strong. See, The Lord, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua of host is his name. See Deuteronomy 28, no man shall buy you, no man shall redeem you or save you, but the Lord gonna do it, right? He shall throughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. Okay. This is Psalm 62:4. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Yeah, he say a lot of things. Yeah, he might run on a platform of equality for all and justice for whoever, Breonna Taylor or whoever, you know. And then when they get in office, you find that you got further freedoms taken away from you. All right, and there's no difference. It's just politics as usual. Okay? It's always been bad, so to speak. This is go to the New Testament. Ecclesiasticus, the book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse was that 7? Pardon me. Pardon. Let me see, find the scripture real quick. Okay. I want to say it's 7. Well, anyway, it's a scripture that speaks about don't think it was better back in the day, because it's always been bad. You know what I mean? I just had the scripture before it started. Hold on. Say not. Anyway, if the Lord bring it back, it'll come back. Okay, this is Jeremiah 17:5. Thus said Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord. All right? So you trusting in man to make your situation better, not knowing that the Lord already prescribed the situation to get worse first before it gets better. Verse 6, for he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land, and not inhabited. All right? Because when you put salt, I believe when you sow salt in people's field, that chokes out the ground where stuff can't grow. Okay? This is let's jump to 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 down verse 69. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. Yeah, you trusting in man. They got all these mandates for you to follow, and you consent to them. And then the ultimate one is that mark of the beast. And Joe Biden said it. We played the video. You will rule on this before your tenure is out. Is there an implantable chip, et cetera, right? And you consent to that, you're going to be had in derision, right? You done trusted in man. and made flesh your arm, meaning flesh, you made something tangible. All right? You made an arm goes into defense. All right? You made flesh your defense. You made man your defense. All right? And not the spirit. It says, it shall be had in reproach and trodden underfoot. Let's go back. Which that holds 2 Ezra chapter 16. It's great to read. It says, verse 7, blessed is the man that trusted in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. Okay. So this is Isaiah 28:15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. And that's what you're doing if you hiding under the protection of this man. All right? The protection of your oppressor. The people that have been oppressing your ancestors and their descendants have been oppressing you. Okay? One will say, well, I didn't have anyone in slavery, but there are laws in place that ensure or guarantee abilities and opportunities based off of those actions of slavery. All right, you have things such as systemic racism, where the system itself is designed. All right, you're already profiled before you're born. All right, the 13th Amendment. Revise that. All right, which says under penalty of breaking the law. Involuntary servitude is abolished except under penalty of breaking the law. So all you got to do is make certain laws against our people, and you can technically put them back in slavery. That's why the prison, the industrial prison complex, a lot of it's privately owned. It's just plantations. You pass the notes, and people are not supposed to be sagging their pants, right? It's a distasteful look for our young men. But you make a law for people that is against the law to sag their pants. Now you can give them a ticket and technically throw them back in jail. But here it is. You have these high schools, the Edomites, the so-called white kids, dressing distastefully. But you call it expression when they got the 6-foot colorful mohawk with the black combat boots and the black leather and the mascara and the makeup and the black fingernails. Oh, they're just expressing themselves, right? But that's what you people, that system is what you people trust in to vote and to be mad at others for not voting. And, it's just all madness at the end of the day. And it's not going to get you nowhere. And everybody's scared about the future of their children and all of that. It's because you don't see nothing outside of this place. You don't see nothing outside of this place. That's why our people are so worried and scared and hell bent on getting everybody to vote. And I talk to my some of my family members, and that's what they say. You gotta vote. No matter who you vote for, you gotta exercise your right to vote. And you don't mean that. Y'all want everybody to vote for for Joe Biden because Donald Trump is a racist, right? That's how you people feel. Not understanding that it is a whole nation of people that are against us. And none of this voting has nothing to do with anything anyway. It's all smoke and mirrors. Trust in the Most High. Matthew 6:20. Matthew 6:19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And your heart is your mind. All right? And you people's treasure is within this world. Is within your 401k. Is within your savers account. Is within your investments. Is within the houses and the land you own that you want to leave to your children. And you want this place to get better and become a better place for your children to live in, where they can be prosperous and leave something to their descendants. But that is all within this world, which is going to be all this coming to an end. All right. So if that's the case, this is 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, unexpected, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Everything is an element. The elements is everything within nature. So the scripture says the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. So all this is going to be burned up. Verse 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening to the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Right? Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Well, that's what we look for. Ain't no righteousness gonna come from us voting. Like I made a point to one of my relatives, just being objective. The so-called Democrats say equality and this and that for so-called minorities, etc. But those same people are pro-life. I mean, they're pro-choice, where pro-choice is a $20 word for murder. All right, it's murder. Even science itself says they can't differentiate a time when a human being is not a life, so to speak, or a child, or whatever, however they word it. So you committed murder. All right. So they're for abortions. All right. They're for transgenderism. They're for pre-adolescent youths making a decision to change their sex. All right. That's unrighteousness. All right. So you damned if you do, damned if you don't. All right. The scripture says, Isaiah 59:8, the way of peace they know not, and there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. So whatever option or path or choice you take, you're not gonna know peace. And peace is rest, quiet. All right. You might be okay financially, but you might be troubled mentally. You might be troubled spiritually. You will not know peace in any option that this man give you. All right. Isaiah 30:12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word. Because what does the word say? The word says, he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. The word says that the days of trouble are at hand. All right. See, our people scrambling within the system to bring more comfort to themselves. All right. With all this voting hoopla. All right. But that's not what the words say. All right. Because ye despise this word and trust in oppression. The same system that enslaved us It maintains that slavery. It maintains that racial divide. All right. Our people trust in that. And perverseness, I just gave the examples. With the abortion, that is perverse. Okay? Sexual immorality is perverse. Pedophilia, you can YouTube and Google all the videos that of Joe Biden kissing and touching young children that don't want to be kissed and touched. They're shying away from his grasp, and he's, anyway, and stay thereon. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessels that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare. So you ain't going to be spared. You're going to be broken. So that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sure to take fire from the earth, or to take water withal out of the pit. Right. This is for thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall you be saved. So returning to the scriptures. All right. Returning to the Lord. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not. See, this ain't what people want. All right. That's why people turn to witchcraft and things of that too. They want instant. They want to bring it about instant when they want. It says, but ye said no, for we will flee upon horses. That goes back into Jeremiah 17:5. Cursed be the man that make flesh his arm. Horses is physical might, physical power. You making that your defense. Therefore shall ye flee, and we will ride upon the swift. Therefore shall they that pursue you be swift. Right, and that's enough on that. So anyway, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson to the hopeful elect. No man can save us. All right, and I know our people ain't looking at it like that, but that's the sentiment you get with this whole voting thing, man. All right, it's bad now. It was bad then, and it's gonna get even worse before the Lord come back. So with that, all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Kakodash.